Okay, Perry Peacock here with Wilderness Innovation, and wanted to make a little quick video on some tips for getting ready for fall. So getting ready for the cooler weather coming ahead. We're into September now when I make this when I'm shooting this video, and of course this will apply for spring as well. But just some things getting ready for this time of year, and being able to be safe in the changing weather conditions that do happen in the fall. And so let me just give you a few little pointers and tips on some things, just some simple things you can do. One of the first things I like to do when the weather starts getting a little chilly, and of course in the area where I'm at here, I'm at 10,500 feet right now, so we already do have cooler weather up here. You know, it's okay right now, but when the sun starts to go down or we get much of a breeze, why it can get chilly right away. And so one of the first things I like to do is add a layer to my clothing, and like this is a North Face t-shirt, and this t-shirt happens to be made out of 100% polyester. So it's a woven polyester, and I found it to be very warm. It's a long sleeve t-shirt, and so that works very nicely for me. One of the things I do like about it as well is if I get a little moist or something, or even a little bit wet, this stuff dries very quickly, and it winds up still being reasonably warm even when fairly damp. So I really do like these 100% polyester t-shirts. Now if you want to spend a little bit less money than North Face, you can do what I got here. Some people have commented before about my Army t-shirt here, but this is an Army long sleeve tee, and it even has kind of a turtleneck on it, kind of a half turtleneck I guess you'd call it. This is also 100% polyester woven t-shirt, and that works very nice, and I typically would wear it under whatever other shirt I've got on, and gives a little bit of warmth to my arms, adds a little warmth layer against my body. So in the fall time of the year is where we find a lot of the news stories, a lot of the newspaper articles of people getting out and getting into trouble, because they've been used to the warmer weather of the summertime, and they've been out, you know, since spring, all during the summer, camping in the outdoors, and everything's been fine. And now we get into this time of year where you go up, it's nice and sunny weather all day long or whatever, and then some storm comes rolling in or whatever, and the temperatures drop like a rock. The wind comes, you might get rain, you know, like you might get rain and it's 50 degrees, or you might get rain and snow mix or something like that. Well, couple that with a wind, and now you can be in serious trouble very quickly. So it's very important this time of year to be a little more cautious. Sometimes we can throw a little caution to the wind in the summertime, but when we get into the fall, that's when people die, not being prepared, getting out there, and you know, death by exposure, hypothermia, just because they just get caught, and it can happen very quickly. It can happen in an hour or two, a few hours. Okay, so now I've put this this North Face 100% polyester t-shirt on. So there's kind of my base deal, my base layer. You do want some kind of hat, of course. This hat here works it's a wool felt hat, and it's pretty darn warm. I wear this down into the 30s usually, and it does me pretty well. You may or may not take a light pair of gloves. That can be helpful. Typically when the temperatures get into the 30s, especially into the 20s, you start getting some numbness in your fingers, and it becomes a little difficult doing some tasks. Especially this time of year where your body, your fingers are used to warm weather, and then all of a sudden it turns off cold. That shows up very quickly in your body and in your ability to do things. So you might think about that. That's maybe kind of optional. Thing I would worry most about is my head, keeping the trunk of my body warm, and that sort of thing. So a few things like this can make a huge difference. All right, and then one other thing that's very important, and of course I like this because we make these things, but also it's a very practical thing. One of the biggest things that you see outdoors as far as exposure injuries and death by exposure from hypothermia, one of the biggest things is, one of the very biggest threats is wind. And then you combine that, some rain and wind, even if it's a light rain, just something to get you damp, and you get a little wind pickup, and you can be in serious trouble. You can be in serious trouble in less than an hour at times, depending on your situation. So one of the things you really want to think about is something like our poncho here. And this is well, it's getting to be, it's already the elk hunt, but it's getting to almost deer hunting time here, and so might not be a bad color in the hunting season, but and it's kind of nice to be seen sometimes, you know what I mean? So you put this poncho on, and you snap everything up here, and what that does is, oftentimes we think of this like a rain poncho, but actually probably in my life I'm probably using this a lot more in windy conditions than I am really in a condition where I'm worried about the rain, So if I put this on, I can feel the force of the wind, but I'm not getting the wind, driving right into me. And so I can have this poncho on like this. I don't want to step off the edge of the cliff here, but if I can have this on, and I can be walking around and doing my things, the wind can blow against me, but it's not like blowing right through me. It's not blowing into my layers of clothing. So basically I can have a cap on my head. This will make a lot of difference, just a little bit of something like this. And I can have that underneath my poncho, and I'm really good to go. And so the poncho provides me rain and wind protection, especially wind. And because when the storms roll in the fall, the storms are cold. So this will give me some head protection. This will give me some body protection. So a poncho over that will give me some wind and moisture protection. I can add another level to that by putting on this is one of our fleeces that actually designed to go underneath our poncho. It actually snaps into our poncho. But I can also add a little head protection by doing this right here. So now I've got double protection on my head. I can cinch this down around my face a little bit, and I can be in pretty good shape. So this is, a condition where it's more than, just throwing a little something on. So the conditions are a little heavier or something like that, or you're up in an area like we are here above 10,000 feet, it can get wicked in a hurry up here. So, you might be thinking about taking enough gear along that you can be protected up here in case of some kind of storm. All right, so now I've added another layer of protection. So this is our poncho in ATAX AU, which doesn't have as much green in it. We also have the FG and a bunch of other stuff. So anyway, so now I've got my fleece. So now I've got a fleece underneath my poncho. So now I've got insulation clear down below my knees, snapped into my poncho. Poncho gives me rain, moisture protection. The fleece and my other inner clothing layers give me thermal protection. And so now I'm in pretty good shape. I've got my fleece snapped down, my poncho snapped down. I can, this particular fleece particular fleece I've got right here does have a hood on it, so I can get this thing in around my head, and I can cinch it so it kind of comes down here. Cinch it so it kind of comes down here around my neck. So I'm trying to hold a lot of that heat around my neck in, around my head. I'm really well protected. I'm actually pretty good to go even into the winter time, just like this. So you see, just with a few little items, I can take myself from fall conditions, which can be, 1 hour like summer and the next hour a little bit more like winter. So with just a few items, and of course I've gone a little more extensive here, but just kind of showing you kind of a full range. But I can go all the way from summertime all the way into the throes of winter just with the stuff that I've got on right here. So this is Perry Peacock with Wilderness Innovation. Just with some tips today that turned out not to be as short a video as I planned, but I want to be thorough, We want to be safe, right? I want everybody to keep watching. I want everybody to keep returning home to their families, be safe. But I'm showing you what I do. This works very well for me. It's worked very well my whole life, ever since we started Wilderness Innovation and started making some of this gear, this is all I've used as our gear year-round, camping pretty much every week, around the year, every week of the year, and this stuff worked great for me. So take care, be safe, have a good fall, and do what you can. Be a little bit extra cautious as we go into fall, because our bodies are not yet ready for that cold. So when we get hit by it, it kind of takes us down a little more than it would in the middle of winter. So we'll see you on the next go round.